Happy Tuesday, y'all. Tuesday Talks with Dr. V. I'm here again. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad to see you. And I'm going to dive right in immediately and ask you a probing question. And this is a question where you and only you know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And the question is, have you ever argued with the GPS? Yeah, I'm sitting in a car. Yeah, and I'm talking to you from my car because we talk to the GPS in our cars. And the GPS is given a destination by us, but then we try to tell the GPS how to get us where we said we wanted them to tell us how to get. How crazy is that? But we do it all the time. I did it, I'm not gonna say a few hours ago, but I did it last weekend. I went to another class reunion and I'd never been to this part of Texas before. And instead of just following the GPS, I started asking questions. I started getting frustrated. I started wondering, where are you taking me? And how crazy is that? I didn't know where I was going. I knew where I wanted to go, but I didn't know how to get there. And instead of just letting the GPS take me, I'm looking at the GPS and I'm looking at the road signs and I'm looking at the blankety blank and I'm thinking, where are we going? And the GPS kept rerouting me when I wanted to go a different direction and allowed me to reroute as much as I wanted to rather than just follow the directions that it was trying to give me. So as I sit in my car and I talk about the GPS, then I want to slide into the question about God as the GPS and whether or not we on our destinations that we don't even decide have challenged God's directions on how to get there. How crazy is that? But we all do it. And God, unlike the GPS, won't always reroute us. Sometimes God just says, fine, go for it. And I ask myself, how's that been working for me? And when I sit in my car and I think about it, it often hasn't worked very well for me. I think I know where I'm supposed to go, and I think I know how I'm supposed to get there. And God says, give me a break, and patiently allows me to wander. Sheep, we wander. And when we come back, God is patiently ready and willing to reroute us so that we get where He wanted us to go in the first place. But here's the complicating factors. Not only do we wander, not only do we challenge the directions, not only do we think we know where we're supposed to be going, but we get angry, we get an attitude, we get frustrated. We even talk back to the GPS and God when we were the ones who got off course. We were the ones who wouldn't follow the directions. And if we tell the truth, the whole truth, we blame God because we're off course. We blame God because it took us longer to get there than it should have. We blame God when we run into obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, rather than being rerouted around the road construction, around the traffic jams, around the flooded roads. We go right through all of the congestion and the challenges because we thought we were smarter than God. Have you ever done it? Hit me in the chat. Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And then ask yourselves, could you have avoided that? Could you have been spared that had you listened to the GPS or simply listened to God? It's not complicated. And each of you has your own stories, not just one story. I know it. As I sit in this car, I could give you 10 examples in the last 2 months where the GPS and I had a knockdown, drag out argument. And at the end of the argument, I did what the GPS said to do, or I didn't, and I got to my destination one way or the other. So I just wanted to throw that out. That's one of my favorite chapters in the book. Have you ever argued with the GPS? We think we know what our destination is, and sometimes we do. Often we do. but we don't always know what God's destination is for us, and we often take longer to get there and navigate more bumpy roads and challenges because we don't just follow his lead as sheep are supposed to do when they follow their shepherd. So I'm not going to drag this one out. I just wanted you to kind of answer that question for yourself. I am going to give you some tips about what's coming up in the new year, because one of the things I'm going to do in the new year is actually do a series where I invite you to join me and study some of the book week by week. That means you got to get your book. That means you got to get the book in some people's hands that you want to join us. And we're going to actually have a discussion and a dialogue and walk through the book page by page, not the entire book, but some of my favorites, some of the key points of the book. And I want you to get your own book, and I want you to look ahead and highlight some of the sections that you really would like us to discuss, because I want your suggestions. And that's one of the invitations I want to extend tonight as well. Send me your suggestions. Follow me on my platforms. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my website. Get on my Facebook page. Follow me on Instagram. And make some suggestions, because I want our relationship, I want our community to be connected. And I can't do that without input from you. And I want you to know that in the new year, I am planning another Super Sunday, because I really want my adults who love our youth to walk with them and study the book in depth in the format that works for you and them. And I've got some great ideas. I've got some training coming, because I really want you to get involved and bring your youth to the opportunity. And finally, I thank you, those of you who have subscribed, those of you who are following me, those of you who are making suggestions and hitting me in the chat, because that's the way I do what I do, in a way that pleases God and pleases y'all. So I want to thank you for that. So stay tuned. Follow me next week. We're going to keep this thing moving. I've got more exciting news, but remember, as I sit in my car and I confess, I have argued with the GPS more than I ever should have. But I don't want you to do that. And I want you to tell the truth when you compare God as our GPS to the GPS in our car. And if we can't trust the GPS in our car, we certainly can trust the GPS God. Have a good week. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'll talk to you next week.